Welcome to episode 228 of the official Gamestitch Podcast. I'm Ryan Walton. As always, I'm joined by Dan Reamer.
Morning.
And Matt Bowden.
Olo. Thanks for having me.
What's Olo?
It's from Megamind. He says Spider and Olo instead of hello. You've never seen Megamind, I take it.
I've not seen Megamind.
Megamind's real good.
I've not seen it, but I feel like the intro was strong.
Thanks, man.
Everything we do is strong.
I mean,
because that's how we roll.
I don't disagree. Yeah, I don't disagree that we're strong.
Strong.
Long and strong. Gamestitch.com, long and strong.
Erect, I would say.
Yeah. I always say I'm erect, actually. In public, private, I just say that a lot.
I'm more of a big and tasty.
Yeah.
That's a terrible name for a sandwich.
It's a good name for like somebody who's big and tasty, though.
Yes,
like the dude that wears just bib coveralls. And
yeah,
like
that's big and tasty. Like the
like those three people get to be big and tasty, and nobody else in the world gets to be big and tasty.
Only if you keep one side of them undone.
Undone.
You just let the strap dangle.
Wear your
anybody
American
that would airbrush a shirt gets to be big and tasty.
Bandana around your neck or your forehead.
Yeah, not because you're in a part of a gang, but because you sweat.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're big and tasty.
Those people get to be big and tasty, and they get to be big and tasty very proudly, and we all get to refer to them as big and tasty and nobody else.
Do you think like there's like a boardroom full of professionals that took a bite of that burger and somebody said, I tell you what, this thing is big and it is fucking tasty?
Maybe.
It could have gone that, probably not. I feel like the professionals themselves don't lower themselves to eat their food that they produce.
They definitely eat it.
I feel like they're more like, yeah, we'll hire somebody to do that. And
you think a focus group
right.
had a bite of that thing and said, this son of a bitch is big and tasty.
Well, I think they get those gourmet style. Have you ever seen the YouTube channel where the guy's like, I'm going to make a Big Mac, and then he makes like the best looking hamburger you've ever seen and calls it a Big Mac?
Right.
Like the chef for McDonald's. I think they get them like that.
Well, yeah, then
like,
they have to dumb them down and genetically modify them.
Well, they have to make it so that you can make it in 32 seconds.
Yeah, on the cheap.
Yeah.
Right. Like how fast can you make that delicious sandwich?
McDonald's trying to order a bunch of microwaves that don't beep when they're finished.
Right.
Yeah, these on silent mode.
And then that's how everything, the Quarter Pounder, the Big Mac, that's how it all ends up tasting the same.
Yeah. They got to sprinkle some sugar in that beef product.
Do they put sugar in there?
That's what I understand.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
People like sugar. Probably drop some nicotine down in that thing.
People do like
Jesus
Christ. Now you're doing the making them addicted thing. I see what you're doing.
Yeah,
there.
That's what they're doing. Look cocaine in there.
I don't understand. How are you not working at McDonald's?
I mean, if I did, I couldn't tell you. I think it's a pretty secret organization.
Right. Some sugar cane, some nicotine, maybe just a touch of meth.
Just the tiniest amount.
Well, we know it's not that. Anything. We know it's not meth.
Yeah, no. If anything, it would be probably cocaine.
Wasn't the big thing that they put MSG and stuff, and MSG was addictive, and then it turned out that MSG isn't?
I don't know.
Could have been. It was in all the Chinese food. And
MSG is delicious.
Now the big
MSG was everywhere in Chinese food.
Now the big thing is no MSG added.
Right. And I'm like, put it back in there, goddammit, I like it.
Yeah. Trying to get some MSG, to be honest with you.
Right. You can buy MSG just in a shaker at the store.
Yeah.
That's how good it is.
Can a brother get some trans fat anywhere?
I know, really. I know.
Nobody wants to give you that anymore.
All I want is some corn syrup. Come on.
Yeah. You can get corn syrup and just take it straight up in like a needle right in the vein.
Just the clear, like no anything corn syrup.
Yeah. That stuff's so hard. Make you run outside and pick your car up.
Wow.
Take it straight up like that.
Wow. Instant diabetes.
Yeah, basically.
Yep. You inject some in and your foot falls off. That's how that works.
Jesus, that's like the worst diabetes you can get.
But you don't care because it felt good.
Right?
Yeah, you don't even know it's gone at first. You got it till they come down.
Hello, feet.
Yeah, the come down's always the part you don't want.
That's why people
crash.
That's how people get addicted, because they continue to avoid
What's
that.
it? Yeah,
you say
I've never understood the appeal of that.
I'm not
just
doctor,
staying high.
I understand how it works.
I'm sure it means something.
You
to
just
people.
keep that high.
Right, they're just trying to avoid the pain.
Well, it's because the come
appeal.
down sucks so bad that
Yeah.
you want to, at that point, you would prefer to stay high. It's literally a medical thing.
What sucks, I think, is that you're also like diminishing the high a little bit because you stay that way.
Each time,
right?
yes,
You get this tolerance.
You start to develop a tolerance, and it gets lower.
But yeah, and if you're just staying that way, like you don't even feel that you don't even feel high anymore.
No, now it's normal.
Yeah,
right.
I think like extreme alcoholism gets that way. Like
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, that's why I don't believe in addiction. I believe in recreational drug use.
Sure.
Because then you feel the high.
I've never taken any drugs, just to be clear, FBI.
Yeah, I'd also like to let Homeland Security know I don't use drugs either.
I didn't say I did them.
Right.
I said I believe in that.
Right.
Look,
FBI.
if you do them, you do them. I'm just saying I don't.
I
just
don't
want to let you guys know.
I just want to be clear, yeah. CIA.
Popping
I
out
don't do
ibuprofen
drugs.
every now and then, but for the
Brother.
most part, I'm clean.
I've had about
Look,
6
ATF, I'm not doing
ibuprofen
any
this
drugs.
week. Just yeah,
do you
I
hate
take
the line
them
in your
3 by
stomach?
3, dude. Yep.
Man.
Aspirin?
take
What'd you say
medicine.
you're taking?
Yep.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought you said.
We just call it the Profen around here.
The Profen. Yeah, I mix that up with
Profen.
Excedrin. I just take those randomly whenever I want to.
Crush it up, snort it. I got you.
I have
I'm an Advil guy.
I keep just generic ibuprofen and then Excedrin migraine all the time. And some vitamin C tablets.
We just dodged a bullet over here.
We did? How?
Amber Alert hit, but I had the phone on silent.
Ooh.
No, I got it popped up on mine too. At Lexington, though, I think it's
Yeah, but it would have been crazy loud if I had the volume up. It'd been like, woo!
Yeah, it makes that
It would've been
crazy
fine.
noise.
Yeah.
We're discussing the Amber Alert now. So
If you're like in Walmart or somewhere where there's like a high concentration of people and it hits,
Oof.
yeah,
I'm like, what is happening right now? Because I always
the Amber Alert, it scares me whenever I hear it because I always hear it on somebody else's phone first because my phone's always on silent.
Yeah. You
I
can
just
turn it off.
noticed. I'm sitting in this weird spot in my room where like half my face is illuminated and half my face isn't.
Yeah.
It looks pretty
It's kinda
badass. I've been
creepy.
meaning to tell you. Yeah, pretty cool.
Your facial hair is getting pointy again though, which
It
is what
is.
you were going for. Yeah.
It is.
That's getting pointy again. Speaking of facial hair, I was playing. I can't tell anything about this game, but I'm gonna tell a little bit about it.
Okay.
I got a closed beta for Everybody's Golf. If you're familiar with that, it's just Hot Shots Golf. That's what it's always been called in Japan.
Right.
I got closed beta for some reason. I don't know. Maybe I signed up for something. But I started playing it. It lets you create your own character.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm scrolling down, and all they have for facial hair is like a Hitler stash with the fullness of Tom Selleck's mustache. Sideburns that stop about mid cheek.
Ear beards, they call those in Europe.
Those are mom
Or-
chops. Those are chops.
Or like a dirty ass thin pencil mustache.
That's it?
That's all?
That's it. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
That's
I
not
can't
the
even
only
play
facial
this game.
hair.
I can't even play. Yeah, I'm doing something different right now. And so I put the long sideburns on. It does let you adjust them, and I made them just a little bit longer. And I'm like, this. I mean, it's fine. It's just it doesn't matter if it really looks like me, but I mean, it needs to have a beard. What they've done though is they've hidden some things down in like these miscellaneous categories, where you can do like full face stubble, and you can layer it like three times. So I created a beard.
You made
Nice.
a beard.
Yeah,
There
by
you
like
go.
putting that full face stubble on and then scooting the next one over and shrinking it down a little bit and then blowing the last one up. Like I was able to like cover all the skin.
Now, why do you like your guys when you create them to have a beard?
Because he's
I like
got
everybody
a
to have a beard. Yeah.
It sounds a lot like
I made this guy look like me though. He's
Yeah,
like
why?
fat.
Because you never make people look like you.
Because I like golf. Like as a person, like me, I like golf.
You were on the golf team.
No, but I played a lot of golf.
You weren't on the golf team?
I was on the golf team.
My passion didn't start for golf until after high school.
What's the name of that game that you like, that kart racer game? Where you have to do that with all the creative stuff too.
My Nation.
Yeah, My Nation Racers. Where you have
Yeah,
to
I like beards on things. Anyways, he looks good. Like I made him overweight. He's an average height. He's like nothing special. I put him in like fucking gray polo and a pair of slacks. And I was feeling pretty proud of him when he got out there. I put him in like a trucker cap because I didn't want to go with no hat because I figured the sun would burn me because I've got pale skin.
Yeah.
So I can't give any impressions. any details, but I can tell you that I like it a whole lot.
That sounds like an impression.
No, because there's no detail. Well, I can give you impressions, just no details.
No detailed impressions.
But here's the one thing I want to say. All right, I mean, I like a golf game anyways. I love Hot Shots. I love the way Hot Shots plays because it's kind of like every man's golf, which is probably why it's everybody's golf. Like anyone can just jump in, even if you don't give a shit about golf. It's not that kind of game. And you run from hole to hole, which is crazy. But what I like is it said, hey, when the full game comes out, just so you know, if you don't feel like playing golf, you can just drive around in a golf cart doing nothing, or you can go fishing. And I'm like, take my money now, Sony.
That sounds awesome. How do I get in on this?
Now. You're talking free range golf cart driving and fishing.
Right. If you don't like golf, don't worry.
Right.
There's something for you.
We have fishing and driving around.
And the cool thing is, like, when you go to a course, not a detail. When you go to a course, there's just other people fucking running around playing golf too, but they're all like, it's like open world golf.
So is it? I guess you probably can't disclose this, but is it like a open world multiplayer golf, or that like they're just really?
Yeah. It's all right. It's all right. You also jump like 12 feet for some reason, which I kind of feel like a superhero when I'm running hole to hole.
Does that have? What's the release date on that game?
I don't even know the answer to that. I just know I'm not allowed to give you any impressions, which is not what I've done today.
Right. Details.
Yeah, details.
You can
no
give
details.
impressions, not details.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's weird that a closed beta came with so many NDA things because usually they don't. They just say like, don't stream this shit.
Yeah.
I'll also tell you I had not a single hiccup, not a single connection issue. It ran fucking smooth as silk.
Oh, speaking of connection issues, Matt.
Oh, are we gonna talk about this?
You want to take it?
You want to jump right in?
Seemed like a good time to segue into this fucking pissing me off fucking
tell
game.
you a Segway story real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know that Segway that's got like the one you control with your knees?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So it's like a short Segway that you lean to control it. Best Buy had it for $400 off yesterday.
Which to get a recall or something?
It still makes it like, well, no one's going to buy it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense around here. But I stared at that box for like 20 minutes.
What was the final price with the $400?
It's still like $500.
Fuck.
But it was like $900 and something.
Right.
It's a good deal.
That's the closest I'm ever going to get to owning a Segway. Like $500 is almost there. The problem was they had the box beside the one wheel, which is way cooler than a Segway. That thing that Adam Savage rides around on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that thing's $1,500. But I was like, that's what I really want.
That's worth spending some money, though.
No, you could buy a car for that.
You could buy a car that won't last you that long for that.
Right. All right, now we'll segue back
after the fucking Segway.
We'll segue back after my Segway story now.
Do we want to go ahead and talk about this game?
Yeah, I don't. You can talk about the game because I actually haven't had a chance to play it yet.
So we're gonna jump right into headlines,
i.e., connection issues.
No, we'll skip the news story that is with this, and we'll segue back to it.
Okay. Well, Friday the 13th came out.
Yeah, we're still on the what we're playing, which turns into what Matt's playing and Dan's not.
Right. Friday the 13th came out on Friday, and I'm sure that a lot of people listening to this show have bought it. It's digi only, and it has server problems. It has bad server problems.
It's a bit of an understatement, but okay.
Yeah, that's actually part of the news. But without going into too much detail, the game's fantastic when you get to play, but you have to wait like 5 minutes to get into a match. You get in there finally, and you've got. It's like if you can make it past the first 5 minutes, you know you're going to get to play the whole match. But I don't know. It's infrequently enough that you get to play, but it's frequently enough that you dread it. Like you'll get disconnected randomly. Like the host will leave the game, or the servers will get overloaded, and they'll shut the games down intermittently. And it's really like part of the news story is it's inexcusable, but the game is fun. So let's talk about like why the game's great. If when you get to play, there's kind of like a dice roll of who gets to be Jason at the front of it, and then there's up to 8 counselors. So there's 9 people playing in a match at all time, and it's probably the best game of hide and seek ever. But what I love is I choose to be a counselor every time, and then you get to this point where you're like, I've seen all these movies. here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to run into the houses. I'm not going to go upstairs. I'm not going to go like into a room that doesn't have an exit. I'm not going to go down to the water because Jason's in the water. I'm not going to walk through the paths because I'll be in the light. And that's like, and then you fucking do all of those things because you're in a panic. You're like, so the matches start and it's like all the counselors doing their thing, and Jason walks up and kills one of them. Like there's a random counselor that gets killed at the beginning of every one of them, and then the screen goes black and it pops back up and it says 5 minutes later ... survive, and you're just some random place on the map away from where you started. So you might be by a building, you might be by like a car that needs to be repaired or a boat. So you kind of like get your bearings, and then you go, okay, I don't know where I'm at. What do I need? So, like, the first thing I was thinking is, like, this would be a lot easier with a map. Where do you get a map? You have to run into a house to get a map. So, you can run into the house, and you can barricade the doors, and you can find a weapon, and you can like, look through the drawers. But as you're doing that, you're creating a bunch of noise. And whoever's playing as Jason can see, like, they can see from anywhere on the map that you're making a bunch of noise. They don't know exactly where you are, but they get, like, a little ping in a certain direction that says, like, some, you know, like over there is something. It could be a squirrel in the woods, it could be a radio, or it could be a counselor. And so you're frantically looking for this stuff, and it'll be quiet, and you get the Jason, like the ch thing, right? And then the music like intensifies. Like if Jason starts coming towards you, it gets like full-blown horror movie music, and you're like, shit.
That's pretty rad, yeah.
Right, and you're like, what do I do? And every horror movie every Friday the 13th, somebody gets under a bed and you're like, that's the last fucking thing I would do. But you hear that music and you're like, shit, he's close. I gotta hide. And you get under the fucking bed.
I gotta get under the bed ASAP.
Right, you're like, I'm gonna get a bed, I'm gonna get in a closet, because he'll never think to fucking look there. Right. And inevitably he comes to the door, he starts beating it down, and you're just like, shit, here comes Jason. And you're like under the bed like this. He walks straight to the bed and fucking kills you, because that's the only place you could be. And like, you jump out of the window and you start running, and like, so in a horror movie situation, in a Friday the 13th situation, my thought has always been, what you do is you stay in the open area, you just run a little bit, look behind you, make sure he's still there, keep running a little bit. You just like kite him to wherever you want to go, right? And you can do that, except for there's stamina in play, and you have fear in play. So if you get too scared, your stamina just like depletes, your screen goes black and white, and your vision gets like tunneled like this, and you get slower and slower and slower until Jason's walk speed is like faster than your run speed.
Great.
So you can't just run.
Sounds terrifying.
Oh yeah, I've died a million times just being like, I'm just gonna run down the road, this'll work. No, he catches you. Also, Jason can teleport like you can in the movies. So if you're playing as Jason, you have morph, which is you can just jump to any place on the map at any time. So you may want to go to the car, set some traps around the car, check it out, make sure if there's any counselors, and then just jump to the other car without walking. But there's also one called shift. So if you're chasing somebody and the counselor can look behind and see that you're still there. But shift, you just like you turn invisible, and then you go like super speed in a direction, you can control it. So what you can do is when you're chasing somebody, you see them look behind you, and then you shift and you shoot yourself up in front of them, and you turn shift off, and then when they spin back around, you're just there and you grab them. So
that's the most gangster move ever.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
yeah, and you scream like a fucking girl when it happens. Like I found that this game, like, I wanted to stay alive at first. When I was a counselor, it was all about staying alive. That's how you get all the XP and the rewards, and that's great. But it's really fun just to die. Like, that's the point of the game. The point of the game is to be the counselor and to die doing something stupid that you said you'd never do.
Yeah, that being behind you then appearing in front of you, that's the most gangster move.
It's badass. And so you can also, like, if you're Jason, you have an ability called stalk. You can turn off the music. So if you are coming up on like a group of counselors, you can go into stalk mode. You move faster, your listening abilities go up, and nobody knows you're there. So you can just like ease around the edge of a building where they're all standing, and then they see you, and then their fear like immediately spikes, and none of them can run. So there's
I want to know I'm coming.
Right?
I want the music to play. Like, I'm fucking here, bitches.
There's a lot of really cool stuff you can do in that game. The problem is you can't find a game, and I can't figure out why.
Yeah, here's the problem: is you just talking about this just actually pissed me off a lot more.
Because it's so fun.
because I watched like 4 hours worth of videos on Friday night debating on whether I wanted to get this or not.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, I want it, but I don't know if I'm having one to play with. I don't know if that matters. Blah blah blah. So I started texting you guys yesterday, and Matt, you had already got it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no, it's awesome, blah, and I'm like, fuck. And I'm like, well, I'm like 80-20. And then we talked some more, and then I watched more videos, and I'm like, okay, now I'm like 90% gonna get it. And sure enough, 2 hours later, I said, okay, it's downloading now. Because that's what I do, and I believe,
right.
Ryan, you laughed at me. So finally it downloads. I turn it on. I'm like, I don't know how to play this. I look through so I go through the how-tos. Tells you how to play as Jason and the counselors. The more I'm reading it, I'm like, this sounds so fucking cool. This is gonna be fucking awesome. I can't wait. I'm getting further through. I'm like, holy shit. And now I'm super hyped. All I want to do is play this fucking game. Okay, start. Enter match. Searching for servers wait for fucking ever.
Dude, and it wasn't that bad. The not the first day, not on Friday, but like Friday night to Saturday morning, it was fine. Like 30 seconds you'd be in a match. But Saturday, once everybody realized the game was out, like Saturday afternoon through last night, it was like there was a death grip on that game. Like 11 to 12 minutes to get into a server. And the devs know it because they're on Facebook like, we know the servers suck. We're gonna fix. Like, how did you not know that probably the second biggest horror franchise of all time? Like, if you're gonna rank the big three, it's Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, this is one of the biggest horror franchises in all time, and you're making a game that allows people to experience those movies, and you didn't know that your fucking servers had to be on point. Like, there's no excuse.
You didn't want to know. You didn't want to know.
Right. They thought their little Kickstarter baby was going to be their little Kickstarter baby, and the, couple thousand backers they had were going to be the people playing. Like, it's Friday the 13th.
The real misstep here is that they didn't delay the game until Friday. They should have delayed it till October, Friday the 13th.
Is there a Friday 13th this October?
Yes.
Why?
It should have released then, and it should have had working servers, and this thing would have. I'm just gonna say it would have sold double the amount of copies it's about to sell.
Possibly a single player mode.
That should be ready to go too.
There's a single player mode coming in October.
Right.
Or 6 months, they said. Yeah.
They should have delayed the whole thing, released with a full game on October the 13th, and people would have been like, this is the way horror should be done in video games.
Right.
I mean, I had the same complaint about Until Dawn. Like, those games should release in October when everybody's jonesing for some scary.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
and this would have been great.
I'm pretty sure that Friday the 13th takes place in the summer. So I get it that they wanted to release it in the summer.
But that doesn't mean anything to people. People don't care. They want to be scared in October.
Right. You want to be scared around Halloween. Yeah.
Yeah. They misstep.
Yeah, it definitely is. But this game, and Dan, when you finally get to play a match, you'll understand. Just turn a quick match on and let it sit for like 5 or 6 minutes. You'll get into a match. When you play it, you'll understand the magic of this game because it's asymmetrical multiplayer, which didn't work in Evolve and hasn't. Like, it really, doesn't work in a lot of instances. This is the one time that it works because the game is hide and seek. That's the game. And hide and seek is asymmetrical. It's not, you're not hunting Jason. You're hiding from him. You are scared of him every time.
It still would have worked just as well, though, if they would have taken the time to get it right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When it comes to servers. And the single player not being there, I think, is a misstep, too. I don't think that's okay.
The single player's coming, but I don't expect the single player to be good. I don't expect the single player to be fun at all.
And it might not be, but it should have been there.
I think that what the misstep is, the server should have been running. The server should have been. They
stress tested that.
Yeah, without doubt, that's a huge.
They've been beta testing for like 2 weeks. Staff's been playing this game for forever.
Apparently, they didn't stress test it, though. They just let people play it, and they're like, oh, it's fine.
Right. They did alpha and beta, and then they did pre-release this week. I mean, it's been tested, and it's like they didn't...
The right way to do servers, in my opinion, are when they open them up, and they keep opening them and opening them and opening them until they fucking crash it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the point. See what you can take, then fix it. Then do the same thing and keep opening it and crashing it until you get to a point where you feel comfortable that you have exceeded what you're going to have playing that game.
And but they didn't because they only did closed betas. They should have. This game with it being a multiplayer-only game, should have had an open beta.
Yeah, open it up, let it crash. It's okay, especially if your game is good. Because you show people, hey, we have a great game, and we're making sure the servers are where they're going to need to be.
Yeah,
I mean, it's almost more so the servers are more of an issue at this point with a lot of consumers than some of the actual stuff that happens in the game. I mean, this game, it's possible this game could not look as good as it does, and it doesn't look amazing by any means, don't get me wrong, graphically. But it's possible it could be 8-bit, and if the servers worked, people would be all over this.
Yeah. I mean, I get that argument to some degree. I think the game looks great. I think the game it's stylized, but it looks like you're playing a Friday the 13th movie. But even if there's a glitch in the game, it can be overlooked because it's fun. But the servers are inexcusable. Like,
because there's no other way to play the game.
Right.
Hey, let's make a multiplayer game. Okay, but let's not pump the money into the servers. Like, the servers should be the focus. Like, making sure that people can play the game should be the focus.
Yeah, a lot of games are struggling with this. And
you can do private matches, and private matches are fantastic because they're hosted, I believe, on the PS4. So I can start a private match, and me and Dan can play. The problem is that, like, you don't have the game, and, like, 8 other people that we know don't have the game.
Right.
Yeah, I love this idea. I think it's fun. I don't think they get a pass because it's their first game.
Yeah, I don't either.
Their first big game. Like, that's... I don't care if it's Ubisoft or Gun Media. Like, whoever's making a game where the servers don't work, it's there's no excuse for it for me.
Yeah.
They got to get it fixed. They got to get it fixed now. No one should be going home from there until they're fixed. It's that big of a deal.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, Rocket League had issues with the servers when it first started. It was a very short period of time, but they got their shit together.
And communication's a big point, as long as they keep... But, like, I would still be playing Disc Jam right now if it worked when it came out.
Exactly. So you look at, like, Disc Jam and Drive Club, and you see what servers can do to a game.
Mm-hmm.
But, some games get it fixed sooner rather than later. The thing that, and Rocket League lost me for a while. Like, I played Rocket League and I quit. I came back to Rocket League and the game was perfect. I mean, you can bring people back in. I thought Drive Club was awesome once they got it all fixed.
Yeah.
But you lose a part of your audience that doesn't ever come back.
Yeah.
And hopefully that doesn't happen with this, because it seems like a great foundation for something that they can make into a huge franchise.
Well, I can tell you, they have not lost me. I'm still super excited to play this.
Yeah.
I can't wait to play it.
What's insane is, so this is a, like, kind of under the radar digital release. There's a physical copy coming out at $60 when the single player comes. Like, they better get their shit together now, because when people walk into Best Buy that didn't know about this game and they see it on the shelves, those servers are going to explode. Absolutely explode.
Yeah.
It will be impossible not to find a game.
We'll see what happens.
Also, you can kill the other counselors, which is really fun.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, I got ran over by 2 people. I was trying to get in the car, and Jason was behind them, and they're like, fuck this, and they ran me over, and I died. Anyway.
And I get that, too. I mean...
In a panic. I got a trophy called Chad is a Dick. So I had a boat propeller, and this other guy had the gas can, and we put it together, and all the other counselors show up at the boat, and the boat only holds 2 people, so people kept trying to get in because they didn't realize you had to start the boat for the other person to get in. So everybody gets out, I hop in, I start the boat up. This one guy gets in, and we take off. So we left like 4 counselors on the dock. And then we kind of like stopped out in the water. I think I hit a rock or something, and this guy jumps out like I guess he thinks the boat's done. So I back up, ran him over with the propeller, and left on my own.
And that's Chad is a Dick?
Chad is a Dick. It was awesome.
Yeah, I ain't mad at that.
Yeah, I survived.
Game looks fun. I don't know. I'm definitely not ready to pull the trigger on it.
Yeah, you are.
I'm definitely not. I'll tell you about another game I'm not ready to pull the trigger on. I played the ARMS Global Testpunch that's out.
Yep.
And so I've read what a lot of people are saying. I've watched some videos. I think the game is fine. I think it plays well. It's polished. It's Nintendo. It's got a great style. I'm just not interested in it at all. Like, it did absolutely nothing for me. I played with a controller. I didn't want to look like I was doing P90X out in my living room.
Right.
So I played with a controller sitting down like God intended. And it was fun. I'm not a fighting game guy. And if I was, that's not the one that I would be, into.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I don't care about fighting games, but I watched, fucked around and found a Street Fighter tournament on TBS this weekend.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I was ready to go plug down $60 on Street Fighter after watching that tournament.
Yeah.
And I don't give a damn about Street Fighter. But there's something fun about watching people play that game. And those guys were going at it. It was stressful, and there was like 27 people in a basement watching it. It was great.
Was it the old like low and slow Street Fighter, or was it the Hyper Turbo Alpha Beta Extended Edition?
It was Street Fighter 5.
Oh, yeah.
And, excuse me. Got a little tickle. It was good because the way it was presented, I think it was very approachable. You know, they had several people talking about the game, several commentators, and they kind of explained stuff between rounds. They talked about the strengths and weaknesses of each player before they got in. So they made it where if you don't understand Street Fighter, you could still be like, oh, I see what's happening here. And it was fun. I'll tell you what was painfully awkward. The guy that won is absolutely awkward as fuck.
Well, because to be good at that game, you gotta lock yourself in a room for about 13 years.
Yeah, his name is Punk, and they interviewed him, and it was painful to watch, and I loved every second of it. Because they would ask him questions, and he'd be like, because they said, how do you feel like you played? And he's like, like crap. They're like, okay, you want to expand on that? He's like, I didn't play well. They're like, okay, all right, but you're still able to win. You know, what happened there? He made a mistake.
Bingo.
Okay, all right. So what's next? Another tournament. Okay, all right, well, sounds good. Thanks for chatting with us. Yeah, it was great. It was so awkward. It was on TBS, which didn't make any sense. Everything about it was perfect. And it looked like they were in a studio, but it looked like it was like a big-ass basement. And there was like 26 people there, and they were all in like cosplay.
Oh, of course.
Cheering for the people playing.
Yep.
Yeah, it was so good. It was so good.
For
and
a hot
trashy,
mess,
and
depending on how you look at it.
Yeah. The one thing they do so well with those tournaments is they always pit like country versus country.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like this guy versus this guy. It's like the U.S. versus Norway.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't even know who this guy is, but he better fucking pull it out.
Like it's the Olympics all of a sudden.
Right. He better pull it out for America if he knows what's good for him. And, yeah, I was jazzed up for Street Fighter after. And I made the same mistake with Street Fighter 4, and I know how bad I am at Street Fighter. But after watching that, I was like, I could be fucking great at this, and I love it. But that went away. That's cooled down since then.
Yeah.
Then I played ARMS this morning, and I was like, man, I don't care for fighting games at all. So now I'm totally back to cold on that. But I also jumped into another genre that I don't care anything about this week, and I teased a little bit on the on Gamestitch Live, but I played Farpoint for PlayStation VR, and that's a cool experience, and it's the most fun I've had with a first-person shooter maybe ever, just because I really felt in it. I felt invested. I felt kind of like it was me, you know?
Which is what you've always wanted out of first-person shooters.
Yeah, you watch it happen, you crash land on this fucking alien planet, and then you're just there. You turn loose, you don't know what's going on, you don't have any answers, and it's creepy as fuck. But it's creepy by not being creepy, like you're just there, but what's so creepy is that you don't know where there is, you don't know what's going on. It's super fucking, like, dusty, and the wind's always blowing, you can't see anything, you're just confused all the time. And then you create the fear in your own mind. But the main like bullet sponge enemies are these little alien spiders. So the way they introduce them, you're walking along and one scurries across. You're like, what was that? Thought I saw something. Think something might dash in front of me. Maybe I'm losing my mind. Maybe it's a tumbleweed. I don't know. Look like, because the camera, like it kind of cuts and your person's like, what was that? Which is exactly what I was saying. I was like, what was that? But then you walk over there and there's nothing there, and you're like, maybe I'm just losing my shit a little bit. But then as you get into it, you're like, it's a fucking spider alien thing. So these little bastards, they're about the size of a dog, and they make this like creepy noise, this like noise.
Oh yeah.
When they're just sitting, you're like, ugh, like their little things are moving up in the front of their mouth. Yeah. And so you can hear them, but you don't see them anywhere. And then they come creeping down the fucking side of the rocks. The cool thing about all the enemies that I've seen so far in this game is when you see one, it's not like an event to creep you out, except for that very first one. Like when you see one climbing down rocks, like he's fucking coming to kill you.
Right.
So even though he's like way in front of you and he's climbing down the rock, like he's a real enemy. It's not there as just to freak you out. Like he's coming after you. He's just trying to get to you. So they come, they're coming, and I'm shooting them with all I have using this. I bought the aim attachment. I bought the bundle. I'm giving these bastards all I got because I don't want them to be closer than the football field away from me. And one of them, gets close, and then when he gets close, he like digs underground, and I'm like, all right, that's weird. Then he pops up right in front of me. When he does, they like scream. So like they sound like a velociraptor giving birth when they pop up out of the ground, which is terrifying. Because if there's one thing I don't want my spiders to do is to make noise.
Right.
So I'm blasting them. I'm starting to get a little freaked out, and I'm hot in the headset. I'm hot, and sweaty, and my headset's fogging up, which is great because it makes me think my spacesuit is fogging up. So now I'm panicking because my vision's not that great. I'm fucking turned sideways and can't even realize it because I'm in such a panic. My gun's not picking up good anymore. I'm like, what's happening? I realize I'm off center of the camera. One of these little dirtbags gets by me, and he like sits back on his back legs and lifts his front legs up and screams. I'm like, he's gonna spit at me. He doesn't. He leaps at my face. And I stumbled back in real life. I stumbled back and let out like a noise that I can't even describe. That was just pure fear because I didn't know they jumped. No one told me they jumped. I hadn't seen any gameplay where they jumped. This is a new feature for me. And in VR, it's like they're jumping at your face,
right?
Which is not cool at all. And if you watch the video of it, it wouldn't be great because it would look like every other video game. But when you're in it and it's your face, it's not cool at all. And now I'm terrified, and they're everywhere in this game. Like, even when you're fighting big stuff, those fuckers are all over the ground. And so you're fighting these big things, and all of a sudden they're leaping across and from behind you, and it's truly terrifying for me.
This is one of the first VR games you've told me about that I feel like I have to own, and this is the reason to get VR. Because I can see Doom and all kinds of games being awesome like this.
The aim controller is incredible. I know there's a lot of people who don't understand what that is. And that's because Sony's done a really poor job marketing it. It's not a attachment. It's not a piece of plastic that your controller slides into. It is a all-enclosed like peripheral for VR. The ball on the end is made into it. It's not a Move controller. All the buttons are integrated into the remote, itself. And the cool thing about that is when you're standing there holding the aim controller, the gun in the game is laid out the same way. So when it shows you something on the gun, on this plasma rifle thing, and it says, hey, push this right here on the gun. When you reach out, even though you can't see, and you push right there, there's a button there. And so you feel like you're really holding the gun, and you can hold it and move it all in your hands, and it's just like you're holding an assault rifle.
Yeah.
And so it does really help bring you in. And it works really well. Like, they look down the sights, you hold that bitch up to your face. Like, that's how it works. And you get like into it working that way. And this game's not perfect. The movement is still very strange. It's not an on-rail shooter, but it's kind of an on-rail shooter that you control. You move forward, backwards, left, right. But your looking is attached to your head. But when you can only walk, if you want to go look at something on the left side, you have to like strafe left, and then walk forward, then look left. Because it's got to keep your body straight at all times. Because if not, you won't be able to see the gun anymore. The camera won't be able to see the gun anymore. So there's still some things to overcome. But because it's tied to your head, I found as long as you're looking the direction you're walking, my body doesn't feel weird about it. If you look in a different direction than you walk, though, my body's immediately like, something's weird. Like if you're looking right but walking back to the left, like something's weird. But as long as, and backing up works great too. Like when spiders are running at me, I keep looking forward and just run backwards while I'm shooting them. Like straight up action movie style. And it feels really good as they're like jumping in the air and I'm blasting them out of the fucking air like a badass. And the weapon change, you just throw your gun over your shoulder. So you take the whole aim attachment and you just sling it over your shoulder. And then when you come back down, you got a different gun.
Yeah.
It's instant and it works awesome. Because when something big runs up and I throw it back there and I come out with a shotgun and I blast in its face and then 20 spiders come running up and I fling the gun back and I got the assault rifle. It's awesome. It works so good. But they've got to figure out the movement a little better, I think, before it becomes this thing where people have to have it. But it's such a good first try. And I worry because if everyone that has a VR buys this game, Sony probably still loses money on it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many times they can afford to do that to show people that VR works. And they're finally available everywhere. Every store I go to now has them in stock.
Yeah. You can go get one anywhere now.
Yeah, but it is really, really, really good. Like, I'm jonesing to play that game all the time.
Yeah.
I had that much fun with it. And I only played it the one time. It's very, very narrative driven too, and I really want to know what happens with the story. I want to know what's going on here. But yeah, I really like Farpoint. I think it's getting a lot of 7s with critics. It's getting a lot of 8 with users. I think that's about right. You compare it to another first-person shooter, I think it falls a little short. But if you remember that you're in VR, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I think that's why you see the user score be higher, because it is truly immersive when you're playing. So I think that's about right. I think it's a solid 7.5, 8 game, and it's fucking great, and I really, really like it. And it's hard to find. I got lucky last week when we did the podcast, actually. We were talking about it. I searched right then and was able to get it from Best Buy, and by that afternoon, it was already gone.
Nice.
So
yeah, I think, and I think I'm with a lot of people. VR, it entices me. I very much want it, but it's got to have a price drop. It's still too expensive. Like, down from $500 to like $299. I think. I mean, it can't cost more than the console. Like, right. It can't, and at $299 it costs more than a brand new PS4 does. Like, it can't cost more than the console itself, and that's the problem with it. Is like, I could go buy another PS4 and some games instead of getting VR. Like, you can't even buy everything you need for VR for $500, and that's the cost of 2 PS4s.
What I've seen lately too is the systems are everywhere, and I see a lot of the cameras. I think the bundle that's there, I think, comes with the camera.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen those packs of the 2 Move controllers. I haven't seen those anywhere lately.
They were on Newegg for like $60 this week.
Yeah.
The 2 Move controllers together. Newegg ran a sale on them, and they went fast.
Yeah. So I haven't seen those physical in stores in a while. They had them at first when they didn't have VR.
Yeah.
But now it's like they're sold out of those, and it's like, Sony, you've just got to make everything fucking available.
Right. Well, I mean, you can get that $500 pack that's got all of it in there, but that's the problem, is how much it costs.
How much it costs, yep.
And that's not the pack I'm seeing in stores either. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
No,
the one
I haven't
I'm
seen it. All I've seen is the $400 one.
Yeah, just the VR. That's what I see everywhere.
Oh, really? They've got the big boy here everywhere. Target, Best Buy, GameStop, they've got them everywhere in Chattanooga.
So they don't have the big ones here. It's just the base. Now, you can order the big one from GameStop. It's got like 18 different bundles that come with all different games. But yeah, I'm really impressed with... Now, I've made mistakes. Like, I played this before playing like Rush of Blood.
Mm-hmm.
Rush of Blood's probably not going to be as cool now.
Right.
But I am super happy with VR, but I just want everybody that's listening to remember I'm coming from a place where I didn't have to buy it.
Right.
I don't know how I feel if I spent that money on it, because I understand everything that you guys are saying.
Right. Like, if you had to spend your $500 on it, like, would it, like, everything would have to blow you out of the water?
Yeah, I don't know that I've had the experience that I need to have for $500, but I know that I've had the experience that I needed to have.
Right. I mean, have you even invested $500 back into it at this point?
No, I mean, I've spent a couple $100 on it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I bought a case to keep it in. I have, like 7 or 8 VR games. That's probably more than that. I probably have 10 or 15 VR games at this point. That's another thing. There's a ton of games coming out for this thing all the time.
Yeah. And
you just have to pay attention to the store, but there's almost a VR game coming out every single week.
Yeah, and you've got some big boys out there. They just have to make that thing... Not, I guess accessible is the word, but they have to make it like user-friendly price-wise. Like, it cannot cost the amount of money that it does.
I haven't bought a full-price game at $60, but I bought that AIM VR bundle is $70 because it comes with a controller. So that was a big chunk of money.
But that's worth it.
Drive Club VR, Batman, Arkham VR, whatever it's called. Yeah, I've got I probably have 10 or 15 games. That Super Hypercube, I got Bound for it. Res Infinite's still one of the ones I want that I haven't spent the money on yet. I missed it on sale, and now I refuse to pay full price for it.
Are you more inclined to play RE7 now that you've played Farpoint?
I don't know.
Because I feel like Resident Evil 7 really gives you a demonstration of how those controls work.
I'll tell you, it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying when it's happening to you on a different level. Like, I'm not an aliens guy. I don't think aliens are a thing. If you do, I don't give a shit. But when it's happening to you, it's a problem for me.
Right.
Like when it's in front of me, like I was running with this thing chasing me, and you can feel its footsteps in your controller, and it's terrifying. Like when it slams down, that you feel the vibration in the controller. And I just don't need that in my life. And so I'm spinning around, I'm trying to shoot it. There's shit coming at me from the front. Everything's making noise. And then when you finally kill everything, and the game, it kind of does the same thing you're talking about in Friday the 13th. Like whenever it's happening, the music gets intense.
Yeah.
And then after it stops, it's dead silence from music, but you just hear the wind blowing.
Damn,
which is
that's
even
creepy.
more creepy.
You just need a second. Like you just need a minute. Like you just stand there and you're like, fuck. That's truly terrifying. I don't know if I'm good or not. This game has no HUD. There's nothing on your screen. It's just your field of vision. There's no pop-ups. There's no nothing. Your guns don't use ammo. They use like a charge. And you do have to charge them back up on the shotgun, and then you have to watch overheating on your assault rifle. But to watch it, there's actually just a little heat meter on the back of it you have to look at. So you have to, like, if you're in the sights, you have to pull out and see how hot your gun is. Because you can't see them both at the same time if you're really looking through the sights. And that's a terrifying moment, too, because you've got to stop aiming, and you're kind of just shooting at that point. and when shit's chasing you and you overheat it, you're like, I'm a fucking dumbass, and now I have to die. And I've died twice so far. And it's dying's okay. It respawns you basically right where you die at. Yeah. Even if you're mid-battle, like if you know how battles always have like phases where like 3 things will run out and 2 things will run out and 20 things, it'll do it like to your last phase, like where you were at. You don't have to start the fight all the way over. They've done a good job not making it frustrating. And then cutscenes are crazy because you're just watching them as like a fly on the wall in that room, but you can move anywhere you want. You know, you can look all the way around as they're talking. And so it's almost like you're watching a movie. When you go to a cutscene, yeah. And they do these really cool holographic things as you're looking for these people, and when you walk and you scan, the holographs like play out in front of you. So you can go wherever you want, but they're wandering around telling their story of what happened, and you can choose to listen or not, but it's like there in front of you. The holographs like walking around. It's really neat. And I suggest it for anybody with VR. I think it's a must play. But I think you have to have that controller. You can find the game everywhere, but that controller is tough to find. But I think you wait if you can't find it with it. You really need that. That brings it all together. Yeah. So spend like $400, buy all the things we just talked about. Mm-hmm. Buy VR, buy Friday the 13th. Servers don't work on it.
Spend a whole paycheck. Well, they need your money to get those servers running. So
buy everybody's golf when it comes out. No details.
No details, just impressions.
Yeah, just impressions. Maybe don't buy ARMS, but if you have a Switch and you have ARMS, fuck it, maybe do. I don't know. If you're into fighting games, I say buy it. But I'm not, so probably not going to get my money on that. Anybody else play anything else before we move on?
I played Disgaea 5.
Oh, yeah.
On the Switch, which I think you talked about last show, but...
I did, yep.
Yeah. Full disclosure, we got those from NIS as promo copies to review, and we had those for a couple of days before the game launched. It's Disgaea. If you like Disgaea, you're gonna love it. I think it's fun. It's beautiful. It runs fast. It's got that Disgaea like dark humor thing going on. If you're in like it's a one of those, it's as deep as you want it to be RPGs. That there really isn't much else to say about the game other than if you are a fan of RPGs, you probably will love it. And it looks good on the Switch. It runs great. So get it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about it last week. That's one that definitely I liked more than I thought, and it's way out of my comfort zone. Yeah, and probably not something I'll keep playing, but I totally understand how people get hooked on it.
Yeah,
it's got all those things that are easy to fall into. And if it was, if I enjoyed playing those kind of games, I would be all in because I get it.
Yeah, I think that if you are new to RPGs, you get I Am Setsuna. It's definitely a lot more accessible, and it's story-driven, and the RPG style of it's very shallow, right? Disgaea is the other way. Like, the story is there, but what it's about is menus. It's really about, like that every detail matters kind of RPG. Which is also fine. It's just you've got both sides of the spectrum on that one.
Yeah. Dan, anything new for you? Did you jump in Farming Simulator?
I did not play Farming Simulator.
Okay. Just a quick check on that.
I was going to, and then I remembered that game sucks. So I wasn't going to.
Yeah. Says the guy that probably had vegetables last night.
I didn't have virtual vegetables.
It's the only kind I have.
I believe it.
Only kind I have.
I believe it. I've seen you in person.
Meat and cheese the rest of the time.
No, I did download. I actually played some new stuff this week, as well as some old stuff. Mass Effect, of course.
Never heard of it.
Some more Rocket League, of course.
Mm-hmm. Fan favorite.
I was looking for some different things to play, and particularly pissed off because I was planning to play Friday the 13th, and then
the one that shall not be named. Right?
Was not able to. So I moved over to free-to-play Marvel Heroes Omega.
Yeah, I saw you playing that.
Figured I'd give it a shot and see. It's not great. It's not horrible. It is what it's supposed to be. It's a free MMO. Arena-based or isometric, whatever. It actually plays similar to the X-Men Legends game or the Ultimate Alliance games. Everything seems to run pretty similar, just with some MMO-style upgrades and that kind of thing. So it's free. Give it a shot, especially if you're a Marvel fan. I think it's a good time. It's a good time killer because you don't really need to invest a lot into it as far as intelligence, thinking, anything like that. You kind of go in there and determine where you want your powers and kill things. So there's that. And
before you move on, I've talked about that a whole lot. Like, I think it is imperative that the industry have games like that where you don't need to think.
Yep.
And I think it's super important that people play games like that because every now and then you need to reset, you need a palate cleanser, and those things are so perfect, right? You don't want to think, you worked all day, but you want to play something. Jump in it, spend 20, 30 minutes in it, and never use your mind. Just enjoy yourself.
Yep, just enjoy it. It's incredibly important. And that's what I needed last night after wanting to go Jason all over fucking Friday
Brother,
the 13th
you will. Don't
in
worry.
real life.
Don't worry.
I wanted to in real life. I wanted to.
Oh.
Yeah, I was angry. I was upset. As a matter of fact, I believe my text to you was shoot, fuck that.
It was very violent.
And then you may have watched it, or you may have heard about it on Gamestitch Live. I played the gem that is known as The Life of Black Tiger.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
I like bad games. I usually have a good time with games that most people think suck. Mm-hmm. This game is fucking horrible.
I watched Dan play this live, and I'll tell you after watching, I have a really hard time explaining just what the fuck this is. It's beyond, like, bad. Fucking horrible is not enough. That's not strong enough for whatever this is.
There are more things to be said about it.
It's so
without
interesting.
A doubt. The thing that sucks, and here's the thing, is the concept of what the game is trying to be is really, really interesting. I don't know how you go from this really, really interesting idea to this metric ton of degenerate bullshit that they put on screen.
I'll tell you, like, I'll give them credit in that they didn't attempt to hide how bad this game is.
No.
So Dan starts up the stream, and he takes 2 steps. I'm like, this game is fucking bad. Like, it's...
Yeah.
I didn't have to wait to figure it out.
Here's the thing, though, Ryan. You're in the middle of a snowstorm in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So that actually gives you the impression that the game might be better than it actually is, but it starts out being shit.
No, it did not give me that impression.
But you can't see anything.
And I'm like, oh no. Oh no.
It's so bad.
And then in case I needed validation that this was going to be a train wreck, when you first attacked someone, there's no animation for them being hit.
No, they just fall.
So you slash. Keep in mind, there's one attack. There's just a heavy slash. Everything is accompanied by the worst sound effect you can imagine. So in your head, just make the noise that a tiger would make or a lion would make. Yeah, and then make the sound that you would scream if you got hit with one, and it does it every single time.
Every time. It doesn't matter if you take out a dude or a chick. They go, oh!
There's one sound effect, and they use it every time. But when he slashed and he hits this fella, the fella just stands there, but his health meter goes down. Because there's no animation for it getting hit.
Right.
Nope. It's just the health meter going down.
So it's raw, and it's raw, and then it falls down. I'm like, what's happening? What is this?
Yes.
And that's the best part. It's worse after that somehow.
It is. I don't have. There aren't words I can think of that describe the unpleasantness of what this game is.
I was watching and I thought, how long has he been playing this? And right then he goes, I've only been playing for 11 minutes and it feels like forever. And that translated when you're watching it. Let me just tell you, it is not cool at all. But we have to make a slight announcement about this mythical stream that we're talking about.
Yeah. Mistakes were made.
So
besides playing the game in the first place, mistakes were made.
So we talked about it before. We were having some issues out of everyone trying to stream from the same Twitch account. So Dan decided to stream from his own Twitch account and also decided to not mark the option to archive.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Said stream.
So that stream is gone.
So the only people who will have ever seen this stream are the people who watched live when it happened.
Yes.
It's now a mythical creature.
Maybe that's the way it should be.
Well, we're going to make right.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Dan is throwing himself in front of the train again.
Oh my God, I'm throwing myself under the claw of the tiger, so to speak.
Roar.
I am going to... I fixed all the settings, so I'm going to play the game again.
Oh my God.
This time with experience.
And this time I can bring a little bit of wisdom to it.
Yeah, if right now you're worried, I don't want to see this clean playthrough, no worries.
It's not going to be clean.
Even Dan at his best can't make this game any better.
No.
It will be just as bad second time.
No,
around.
I could have Matt/Deformer style skills at Life of Black Tiger, and it would not be good. It would be
I don't know
horrible.
if you were good or bad at it, because I still don't know.
I can't tell. I don't know. There's nothing to... Everything is timed, but and you get points based on how quickly you do things, but there's no reference to what a good time is or a bad time.
Now the one positive, right? The one positive I'll give it.
No, you're not the music. It's so out of place, bro.
The loading screen, like when you complete a mission, it's rad. It really is. It's like a hard guitar riff, right? When you
got
for no reason.
hard 80s street.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, for no reason. It's like when you complete a mission out of nowhere, and it's so good, and it does it every time, and it doesn't fit the game, the look, or anything, but it's really good. That's the one thing I was like, it had a chance. When I heard him hit that sweet bars in there, it's pretty good.
No,
I liked it.
God, I'm not looking forward to it.
I can't believe this game passed certification.
See, I was excited to play it before I knew what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I know what it is, I'm really not looking forward to playing it.
It gives me hope that we can make any game we want to.
It made me feel good when Dan realized this wasn't going to be one he could pull out. Like when I saw it drain from him, that this wasn't going to be one that he was going to enjoy for the next hour. Because he starts out positive, where he's like, okay, all right, yeah, there's the people. I'm not going to sneak up behind them, but it's already bad. But he's still trying.
I tried to give it a chance.
But then
a minute and a half in, I knew, nope.
And when he runs out of all the positives to say, and you can just hear the joy drain from his voice, that's when it got good.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I think at one point texts were sent back and forth, or possibly messages. I think Ryan said, "Oh my God, that's so bad," and I said, "That was the longest hour of my life, and I've been in jail
Yeah, I haven't been to jail, but I think I would rather. I can't remember what I said to you. I knew you weren't looking at your phone as you were playing, but I couldn't wait to tell you how disappointed I was in the game itself.
Oh, I think your first text to me was that this game is so sad.
Yeah, I think that's what I said. But I think I called it sad.
This game makes me sad or something.
I'm going to find it. That game is so bad. It's amazing that it passed third. That's the first one. Hold on.
Watching you play this makes me sad or something like that.
This game is so bad it makes me sad inside is what I sent you. And that's like it's like 5 minutes into the stream.
Yeah, it's not far at all. Like I don't think I've even completed that first mission yet.
Dan started playing at 7 o'clock. I sent this text at 7:08.
And at 7:11, I said, "I've only been playing this game for 11 minutes,
right?
And it feels like it's been the longest 11 minutes of my life."
It was a journey, let me just tell you. So thanks for everybody that saw that, and Dan's gonna do it again. I'm not gonna watch it the second time.
I may not do it live. No, I probably will do it live this time. But we'll also get it up.
It'll exist, yeah.
Seriously,
I can't wait.
I can feel the depression coming on just thinking about it. I need Adderall or something.
Man, we played a lot of games this week.
Yeah,
it was a big week.
Yeah, it's a big week. We spent an hour talking about video games, which is weird.
It doesn't happen a lot.
Very
it's
odd.
Not typically how we do things around here. All right, shall we move on?
Yeah, let's hit some news.
Or I think Matt's going to talk for a little bit first.
It's news.
All right. So
that is news. Good point.
Yeah, I guess it's yeah.
Good point. First news story.
Right. Well, before we jump into actual video game news, I have an announcement for everybody listening and for you guys. This will be my last Gamestitch podcast as a host. I'm going to step away from the microphone. At this point, it will be permanently. Obviously, if there's a time where Dan can't be on or if they need a guest host to fill in, obviously, they can tap me for that if I'm available. I'm not stepping away from the company. I still will be active to some capacity on Twitter through the @game_stitch account, on Discord. I will still periodically, if not permanently, be mixing the podcast. I'll still be available for graphics and music and all the things that I do in the background. I will still be a part of this company for, and you may hear me on the podcast in the future. I imagine that maybe for Swellness Awards, as we generally bring Gerald on, I expect to be on for that episode. You may see me on Gamestitch Live from time to time, but going forward, let's just expect that you won't be hearing me on the microphone or seeing me as a host any longer. It is 100% because of how much I have on the plate. And I wasn't on Gamestitch Live this past week. I wasn't on the podcast the previous week. There's so many other things for me going on that I have to participate in that I feel like half-assing this is not fair to the people who listen. It's not fair to Ryan and Dan, to my friends, and to the company that I've helped build. It's just not something that is appropriate. It's not the right way to conduct myself for it. So it's better to step away. Ryan and Dan have done it on their own before. It's been the same show. It's been an amazing show. So I'm gonna step away from the mic, but still be there to, as the backbone to help them with all the things that aren't the show. This is still a company that I'm gonna be a part of. These guys are still my business partners. They're still my best friends. So it's not like I'll be gone. And anybody listening, Thomas and Garrett and all of our friends that we've made, I'm still 100% available on Twitter. I'm gonna guess 95% of the time, if you're talking to somebody on the Gamestitch Twitter, you'll be talking to me. It's usually me or Dan, so you'll be talking to one of us. I'll still be there. You could still ask me questions. So definitely not going away, but just not going to be on the show. A lot of my time right now, and I don't know if I've ever said this on the show, I'm training to be a pro wrestler. a lot of my time is going into that, like getting in shape, training, learning how to wrestle is taking up a lot of my time. Like Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday every week. Plus, I run sound for the show that I'm training for on Saturday nights. And then I help them do their promo posters and their promo work. And like tonight, after this show, WWE's in town, so we have flyers that I've made that we're going to go hand out and try to promote the big event that we have coming up on June 3rd. And then I have and this is a secret, so nobody mentioned it on Twitter or Facebook. And you guys actually are just hearing about this. I just got married. So what? I have a new wife.
What?
Friday morning. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I got married on Friday morning. Super secret. Yeah. So I have a new wife. Me and Ricky got married, and I really want to spend as much time with her as I possibly can. And with the podcast and Gamestitch and wrestling, some things have got to go bye-bye so that I can not abandon her. So, I really, please don't congratulate me on Facebook or Twitter because we don't want our parents to know. So please, please, please don't do that. But you can, if you're a friend with me on Twitter, you can @goddammit_Matt. Send me a direct message if that's something you want to do. That's fine. Discord would be the place, though. Discord is the place. If you want to say anything about that, go ahead. But us getting married is super secret. So please, 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 nothing on social media.
Who knows about this?
Me, Ricky's sister. We were married by my friend Chris here, who is my wrestling trainer. So he knows, his girlfriend knows, my little brother knows, you guys, and then our two best friends in Pennsylvania. That's it. So
and
maybe
now all of the listeners.
Less than 10 people, and now Garrett and Thomas and everybody that listens. So just super secret. We didn't want to do a wedding. We didn't want it to be a big deal. We still don't want it to be. Our parents are going to find out at Thanksgiving. We're going to have all of our parents come in for Thanksgiving dinner, and we're going to tell them then.
Dude, that's like 6 months, 7 months away.
Yeah, I know.
You think you can keep the secret?
I feel like
for
you
that
didn't
long?
think this through.
Oh yeah, I think we'll be fine.
You're not going to slip up, you don't think?
Mm-mm. No, it's fine. And even if it does, that's fine. The longer we can keep it a secret, the better. There's no real reason to it other than we just don't want anybody to feel like they had to come to Chattanooga for that. We don't want anybody to use their vacation time. We don't want anybody to feel like they got to buy us anything. We wanted to do it for us, and then we'll, as people find out or as we tell people, that's fine. So,
now that I know, I'm still not getting you anything.
That's totally okay. That was the point. So,
not even a card.
That's fine. It's fine. I promise. So,
I might not even say congratulations. As a matter of fact,
all good. So obviously I have a lot going on, and as much as I love being on this show as a host, if I continued to do it, it would be intermittent. It would be when I could. And it's easy to help out with Twitter and Discord and mix the podcast. And it's easy to do the things in the background when I can, when I have time. This is scheduled, so I have to know that, every Sunday morning I would have to be here. And Gamestitch Live is scheduled, and I would have to be able to nail that down. And those are things that I either can't nail down or I can't kind of be on the fly for. So it's just easier to not commit and potentially hurt what the brand is. But everything else I plan to be 100% involved in. And I hope that that's okay with everybody. Because if it's not, it's going to suck for your feelings. And as this is my last on air, thank you so much for everybody who has made this work. Dan and Ryan especially, we've put a lot of time into this. We've put a lot of effort into this. And you guys are definitely my best friends, so this company will still succeed. And you guys are great hosts, so it'll carry on and be amazing. And thank you to everybody that listens and supports on Patreon and supports by listening, and all of our fans and friends that we've made that were fans of the show. It's awesome, and I'll still be here, so you guys let me know. I'll listen to the show every week with you guys now, and I'll mix it, and I'll put little cool things in there, and yeah, I'm sure you'll hear me on here sometime.
I'm sure this is jarring for a lot of people that are listening, but I just want to take a second to thank Matt for being such a big part of this and going along this journey with us. But if you're wondering what's going to change with, us and the podcast, and there's a few things I can tell you and a few things I can't tell you. The podcast isn't going to go anywhere. It isn't going to change other than Matt not being on here. Still going to post at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, podcast services all over the world, blah, blah, blah. That's not going away. This podcast is going to exist like that. It's still going to be free. It's still going to be there. Some things will change, though, and I think right now we're at a point where we don't know what those things are.
Nope.
So you will see things change, and just know that some of that was already part of the plan, and some of that is changing because obviously the dynamic changes when the host is different, when you only have two people. And but don't panic. We're gonna include you guys along the journey as we make decisions. We're gonna talk to you about it like we always have. We're gonna be as transparent as possible. But you will see some things transition into something that's more manageable for Dan and I, as host, and maybe other people come in and out, and there will be some changes, but don't panic about this podcast, because this podcast isn't going anywhere. So if we can give you one takeaway, I would say that you still have a way to talk to Matt if you want to, and this podcast as it is will continue.
Well,
so
keep going on.
Right. So if this is your rock, it's still going to be there every Monday. So don't worry about that.
If this is your rock, there might be another discussion we have to have. But
no, I'm trying to be somebody's rock.
Yeah, if you live and breathe by the Gamestitch Podcast,
I'm trying to be that rock. I'm telling you, I'm trying to rock out for somebody.
Yeah, me too. I understand that, and that's great because I'm all for that too. But I still think there's some underlying issues that need to be addressed.
I would be willing to wager $7 that we are somebody's rock. Does anybody want to take that bet?
No, because I know that Garrett listens every week.
I think we get a lot of, especially from our supporters, and especially from our longtime supporters with Garrett and Thomas and Alan, and there's a million that I'm sure I'm forgetting, Austin and Brian, and I mean there's a lot of people out there, and Howard listens every week, and of course we've had tons of support from Gerald. I mean there's a lot of people that do love this podcast, and just don't freak out. Don't make this bigger than what it is. Obviously we're going to miss having Matt around, but the dynamic of this podcast is going to stay the same. It's still going to be a dumpster fire, maybe even more so. So if you show up and smell the burning garbage, you're still in luck. The stench isn't going to go away.
Oh yeah, we're still setting fires.
Yeah. So we're going to finish this show out like a normal episode. We're going to give you guys just a straight up normal ass vanilla podcast. Because that's what we provide, and we want to go out the same way that Matt came in, and
like a wrecking ball.
Yeah, next week will be the another vanilla podcast with me and Dan. It'll be great.
Yeah.
So news story number 1, which would have tied in better 46 minutes ago.
It would have.
Friday the 13th having some issues. Now, you talked about all the server problems. I'm not going to talk about those. Those are clear. Everybody understands what's going on there.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the outrage from the Kickstarter backers.
Yeah, this is a little bit unnecessary, I think.
It's a little odd, but I see both sides here.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Matt, I'm completely with you.
Yeah.
For
the first time, man.
However the fuck that ever happened.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just there.
Let me give a little backstory. Yeah, happy wedding gift. Let me give you a little backstory here. So Kickstarter, Friday the 13th was a Kickstarter game. And it obviously had a big groundswell of support over there. And the reason that other people are able to play this game right now is because of Kickstarter. And this game took the traditional media path when it came to review copies and sending out to influencers and YouTubers and things like that. But in this particular instance, the backers on Kickstarter felt like that's bullshit, that other people had it in their hand when they are the ones who more or less paid for this game to exist.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a new thing for this to happen. Influencers are usually a big part of launches, and a big part of new games coming out, a big part of drumming up interest for other people to buy the game and purchase the game. But for some reason, in this case, the backers are way, way more vocal about this.
Yeah.
They're pissed off, and they're pissed off in large groups.
Unnecessarily. For no reason.
Yeah,
I get it.
I agree.
I'm not saying what they're doing is right, but I get it.
No, I'm saying they have absolutely no reason to be upset because.
Yeah, but I'm saying I get why
Gun
they're
Media,
upset.
when they laid out their goals, essentially that's like signing a contract. They met the terms of that contract. They were always said they were getting free codes. They never said they were receiving the first copies of the game ever.
I
it has
get
been met. There's done.
I mean, I get it, but to me, if you break it into something, if you think about it in any other instance where some guy down the street's making things and you go and pay so that he can start making them, and so that you get one, and then you find out he's giving them away and you don't have yours yet, I can see how you would be a little irritated. Is it justified? I don't know. I didn't back this game. I don't have any feelings about it. But it's pretty standard. It's pretty standard to put it in the hands of influencers and critics first because you need other people to go buy the game.
And like I said, that's the thing. It was never. They were never promised it first. They were promised it free.
I think a little bit of this, why I feel it's very unnecessary, is who's to say that YouTube influencers and the people that got their copies early to review and influence aren't backers? Like,
so some of those do exist,
right? I mean, I'm sure that those people pumped money into it. They probably flew out to do press events for it. They were part of the betas, so I'm sure they were involved in some capacity.
More people that donated aren't part of that crowd than are.
Right.
But and probably all of that crowd didn't donate.
Yeah, but
some of that crowd didn't donate.
Like if you and I had backed, or if the three of us had backed, and Stat got his copy 2 days before we did, and we're belly aching about him getting to play the game on his YouTube channel before we got it, and we paid our good money for it. It's not like I don't understand the outrage. I don't understand why they're so angry about that. Like, you're going to get your game on release. If you paid for a physical copy, they made sure that you got a copy of the game, and they told you, hey, your physical copy's coming. Like, it's not it's not like they weren't slighted. And if they're just jealous that somebody else, like, if we made a game and Gerald did backed a copy of it and Stat backed a copy of it, the guy that gets the game first is Stat because he has 500,000 YouTube viewers every day. Like, he's going to get the game first because I want all of his viewers to see the game because maybe they didn't back. Like, Gerald backed. He believed in it. He's going to get his game on time. But the guy that can influence other people to buy the game who didn't back, that's who gets the game first. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, it makes perfect sense. And if you backed the game, if you want the game to be successful, you should view it that way too. It's not me. It's not me. You backed a product and a company to be successful. You didn't pay for a game that you expected to get ahead of time.
I think it's just that mentality of, like, without us, it doesn't even exist. So why would you turn your back on us, even though that's not what's happening?
Yeah,
right.
They're not. They're trying to put more. They're trying to get this game that you thought was awesome into more people's hands. That's what they want to do.
To me, this is totally more justifiable than the servers being broke.
Right.
Because this is pretty standard operating procedure, but your game is fucked up, and I need you to fix that and not worry about. Right. And to their credit, they're responding. They have said, "Hey, look, the whole point was to get it in people's hands who can get more people to buy it."
Yeah.
It wasn't to do anything negative towards our backers. We love you. Without you, you're right. This doesn't exist. We're just trying to sell it so we can support it better.
Yeah. It's just
again, go ahead, finish your thought.
Well, I was going to say, I think it's just to reiterate. I think it's just a bunch of people belly aching because it's me. I wanted it first.
Yeah, and I think there's no argument here. All terms of the contract have been met. You get a free code when it comes out. That's what you were promised. That's what you got. What anybody else has made as a deal is irrelevant. We honored the deal that you and I set up.
Yeah.
If this guy gets it first, that's another deal.
Maybe that was his deal.
Your deal, and your deal was on day of release you get a free code. That's what you get. Quit your belly aching. Quit your whining. You're not entitled to anything more.
Yeah,
You're entitled to what we agreed on.
That's the black and white way to look at it. I think what they said was obviously a little more PR and probably a better answer in that you got what I told you were going to get is probably not a good way to keep lifelong fans.
Right.
But, I mean, at the end of the day, that is what it is. You got exactly what you were supposed to get.
Yeah, I don't think there's an argument.
But I can see
more black and white, and I'm probably much more of an asshole about it. And you guys, I talk about consumers all the time, but part of the problem is that consumers whine and bitch and moan like this, and that's why these companies feel like they have to take advantage of them.
I mean,
They try
sometimes
to
I'm
find
on
ways to take advantage of them because they're constantly being taken advantage of.
And I don't know. I don't know if this is something that needs to be clarified with Kickstarter or GoFundMe or things like that. I mean, we absolutely ripped Oculus for being in stores before it was for their backers. Mm-hmm. They never said it wouldn't be.
Right.
You know, so I even think we have a double standard when it comes to this, and I think this just needs to be more clear up front. Like, hey, this game's going to go to influencers, and then you're going to get your copy along with everyone else who buys one, but you're going to get it cheaper or whatever.
Yeah.
Or a special copy or extra skins or whatever we're giving our Kickstarter people. But as sad as it is to spell it all the way out, I mean, we tore into Oculus for this same thing that we're excusing them for. It doesn't.
I don't know that I did. I'd have to go back and listen.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure we all did.
Yeah, I think we did. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that it's so far-fetched to say if you're going to do a Kickstarter campaign and you go, hey, if this gets funded, obviously to get more people interested after it's funded, we're going to give it to influencers. But I think it should be just a given at this point. Or
just something as simple as you get it on release day.
Right, like you will get
that's when you get it. That's what this tier is for release day.
Right, and Kickstarter backers did get special skins and stuff like that that other people didn't, but they're not available, and so they're belly aching about that. A lot of things went wrong with the launch of this game, and I think that the backers are. It's a culmination of a lot of little things that this has become a problem for them. That in another scenario where it was a smooth rollout wouldn't have been. You know, like, hey, we put all this money into this game, we can't even fucking play it, and we can't get our DLC, and we had, anybody that ordered a physical copy had to, call and get their digital code. Like, there was,
How much could you silence this if on launch day every Kickstarter person had their code, they fired it up, they got the DLC they were promised, then they got a special skin.
And then the servers worked and they could play the game. And the
servers worked. No one's talking about it, but they can't play the game, so they should just talk about why they're pissed off.
Right, right. I mean, even if they could just turn the game on and play the game,
right?
There
would
be
probably
a lot
silence
less,
some of this. Yeah, I agree.
And every scenario like this is a like per case basis. So you our opinion on this is different from Oculus. It's going to be different from the next one because it's an as is. And a lot of the times I side with the consumer on stuff over the big video game company. This is the one time that people have their panties in a twist over nothing. Over something that, sure, it was avoidable, but it is what it is. You got your thing, deal with it.
Let's move on to a new thing. And I'm going to just tell you from what I saw, it's hard for me to say anything bad about what I'm about to talk about. We got our first look at Far Cry 5.
Brother. Oh, baby.
And the release date of an American Doomsday Cult. February 27th is the release date. It's set in the fictional town of Hope County, Montana, and for the first time, a Far Cry game is set in America. And boy, howdy,
baby, are you guys excited about this? Because it feels like home.
It does.
I'm excited. This is the first game I've been genuinely excited about since probably Mass Effect.
I'm pumped about this game because I know these people.
Yeah, Hope County, Montana looks a lot like Elkton, Kentucky.
It looks a lot like Elkton, Kentucky, dude.
I'll just tell you right now, it looks like I think I may have went to school with some of the people in the game.
Yeah.
And I know what Far Cry is. I know that I don't like first-person shooters. Everyone listening knows that I don't like first-person shooters, but damn, it was hard to find something you didn't like in this trailer.
Yeah, I'm down for it. I'm ready.
I typically don't like Far Cry, but getting to play a video game about destroying everybody that I was not a fan of growing up, brother, sign me up.
So I'm going to give you a few bullet points, and you just search for one that you don't like here.
Go
Stop
for
me
it.
if you find one. It's set in America.
Love it.
Yep.
America.
Yeah, exactly. It's playable on the Pro and the Scorpio.
Love it.
You can play the entire story in solo or co-op.
Love it.
Super excited for that aspect.
Yep.
You can fly planes and take part in aerial dogfights.
Sounds great.
Vehicles include American muscle cars, ATVs, boats, and big rigs.
There's where you got me. Big rigs.
Weapons includes guns, grenades, sledgehammers, and baseball bats.
Going old school, baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can recruit other people to fight for you.
Sounds good.
You can also recruit animals like bears and cougars.
Don't know how, don't care.
I don't know how this is going to happen, but I don't give a shit.
Yep.
There's a map editor that will have new features, add new dimensions, basically content created by fans.
Sweet.
PS4 players are getting a free Far Cry 5 skin pack at launch.
Nice.
I like free.
This last one might be the only one that you don't care about, but Ubisoft Montreal is leading development with support from Ubisoft Toronto and a bunch of other Ubisoft nonsenses.
The only way they can make that better is if it was some American Ubisoft team.
Ubisoft, like
Montana.
Boise.
Yeah, right.
Ubisoft Boise.
I feel like they're so close to it, they're going to nail it.
Yeah.
Helena?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, this thing, I tell you, it just looks...
Yeah,
Watch the trailer, and if you don't get like you want to just be in that world...
I can't wait
see that destruction. Ooh.
I cannot wait, man. I grew up with these people.
This is the first game in I couldn't even tell you how long it's been, but all three of us started texting each other as soon as it came out.
Yeah.
Right after we watched it.
Let me tell you,
I think almost every day about recruiting a bear or a cougar. Almost every day.
I cannot wait to destroy the first person that I see roll coal down a dirt road, dude.
The trucks are so trashy. Everything about it's perfect. They're like baptizing down in the creek. Like it just is.
Oh my god.
Oh man, it's good.
They don't know. They don't know what's coming, dude.
It is so. It's only a minute and a half, but I'll tell you, it's maybe the best minute and a half that Far Cry and Ubisoft could have shown me.
It's my wildest fantasies in a video game.
They also They also had a second trailer that kind of covered the three main characters in it. Did you see that one?
I don't think I even watched that one.
The bartender, the preacher, and the mechanic, I think.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. I've watched the first trailer like 6 times.
And all the flyovers, and then the first real trailer, and then the character trailer.
I've watched all of them, too. I want it to be... I don't even like winter. I hate winter. I want it to be February.
Yeah. I've never looked at a Far Cry game and been like, I think that looks fun.
No,
and it might still not be fun, but man, I don't know how.
Let me tell you what's exciting about this one also. No sharks like the last two.
No sharks. It does look shark-free.
Yeah, it's in Montana. It's landlocked, baby. Yeah. I'm in.
I wouldn't put it past these freaks that have brought something there.
Right. Maybe you can recruit a shark.
Oh, man.
No.
You could bribe a shark. There's not much more to say than this looks awesome, and I can't wait to see more.
I can't wait.
And I assume we'll get a good look at it at E3.
I'm going this week to pre-order it, by the way.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
You get a heat color-changing coffee mug.
Oh, really?
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Where do you get that at? GameStop?
Yeah.
Damn it, but it's GameStop. I get that discount on Amazon and Best Buy.
I mean, if you pay like $10 and you blow somebody that works there, you might get $5 off this one too.
I'm probably not. I'll just pay full price for my... I'll let Matt do all the blowing he needs to for a better price.
I can't wait. Cannot wait.
To blow?
Yeah, that's it.
So we're going to go from one cool story to another. Xbox Game Pass is live.
Yep.
The Netflix-style subscription service. $10 a month as long as you have gold, and I think that's right. I don't remember what we confirmed with that. Anyways, $10 a month, and you can start streaming. Maybe you don't have to have gold, but it's a discount if you do. I don't remember how it works.
You get a discount if you have gold, and for 14-day free trial.
14 weeks?
That's
expansive. Yeah, I'll take that trial. So it's got over 100 titles up right now, a mixture of 360 and Xbox One that are all backwards compatible for the 360 games. It's a pretty healthy list. I included it. I'm not going to read it all because there's a lot on here, but there's some stuff that if I had it right now, I would want to jump in and play. I think this is a super clever move. It's obvious. I don't know why Microsoft is the only one talking about it, and not only just talking about it, but they're doing it, because this is what PlayStation Now should have always been.
Well, this is what PlayStation Now was promised to be, and they still don't have their PS4 titles up.
It Sunset Overdrive's on there. I mean, just looking through this list, there's 4 or 5 games I could see each of us playing.
Halo 5 totally Guardians is on there, I think.
Yeah, Halo 5's on there. The Golf Club, which is one I was excited about. Halo Spartan Assault IDARB. I mean, there's a lot of good games on here. And then there's a lot of stuff that if you didn't have a 360, I mean, all of Gears of War is on here. I mean, there's a lot. All of BioShock is on here.
There's some amazing games on here.
The Viva Pinata games, I'm just saying, check them out. There's just a lot that I think people can have fun with. It's an awesome service, and we're not. I would say none of us are huge Xbox guys. We play PS4 more. This is the kind of thing that makes fans though, and gets people to switch over.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Now, do you think that with all the stuff on Sony's side shutting down this year, that at E3 we're going to get a PlayStation Now has all PS4 titles or has select PS4 titles and goes to something like this? Because it's already on this pay tier.
I mean, I got to think that they've been working on this. There's got to be some justification to the amount of money they spent on Gaikai.
Yeah.
And I would hope that, we spend a lot of time, I think, here trying to break the myth that these companies don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
This isn't something that Microsoft announced and Sony was like, oh, fuck. Guess we should look into that.
Sony,
they knew. They probably have been looking into it for the same amount of time. Microsoft got out first. Maybe that's by design. Maybe that's by just sheer willpower. Who knows? But I guarantee you that Sony knew this was coming, and they probably have an answer to it, or they don't give a fuck,
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't caught off guard by this. Nobody at Sony was like, they're doing what now? It's like Netflix, but with games? What? Game Pass and chill? Really? Like that, they knew. They knew this was coming.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think you get something at E3. Remember, E3 prediction show, I think, is 2 weeks away.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's right. So you'll get all that goodness from us. Before I played Everybody's Golf, I thought this was going to be the coolest golf story of the week. But now I don't know. This still looks pretty fucking awesome.
You might be the only one who thought this was going to be a cool story this week.
There's a new Switch exclusive, and it looks like a cross between Earthbound and a golf RPG. So if you're not already in, I don't know how. Because it looks incredible. It's called Golf Story.
Good name.
And if you jump in and look at it, you're like, I don't know what I'm watching here, but I can't stop watching. It's got like a Pokemon vibe to it, but you're also playing golf, and it just looks awesome. It looks like it's going to be super, super at home on the Switch. I think that's where it makes the most sense. It could have been a 3DS game probably, but I really like it on the Switch and the mobile and if you played any of those, Game Dev Story or any of those type games, it's like that but with golf, but super RPG, and it looks like a lot of fun. Maybe it's the title that Dan's been waiting to get the Switch for.
I think so.
This is the one you've been holding out for?
Next story.
There he is. Dismiss it if he doesn't love it.
Don't worry, buddy, because if that one doesn't get you, this next one will.
Yeah, this one makes me want to switch. Fucking Nintendo.
Nintendo is selling an empty box.
Brilliant.
You can pre-order the empty box now if you live in Japan, because you don't want to be someone that doesn't get the empty box.
It's so bad.
So they're selling
stupid.
the Nintendo Switch Splatoon bundle box. It's $5. It's for people who already have a Switch, but want the box that goes with Splatoon.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because there's so much space in Japan that you can just have fucking boxes sitting around. The sleaziest part of this whole story, the part that makes me feel the worst, is sitting here in America. I thought I'd probably do that if they offer it here.
Oh.
Because if I pick up the game and I pick up those controllers, I could then have that bundle if later on in life that bundle became worth more money as from a collector standpoint. So as disgusting as this is, I get it. And I think, unfortunately, Nintendo will make money on this.
Oh, yeah.
As disgusting as this is.
Yeah, I feel like they don't have a lot of money invested in that box, so.
I want to be clear. It doesn't come with anything.
Right, it's an empty box.
There's no code, there's no download, there's no game, there's no system. It's a box. 540 yen, approximately $5, gets you a cardboard box.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. It's gross, it's dirty, I like it. It's
my
super
favorite part
Nintendo.
is that it's not, the headline isn't that it's for sale, it's that it's selling.
Yeah,
people are buying it.
Yeah.
The bitch is up for pre-order. You can pre-order a box.
You can pre-order a $5 box.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You guys ever... I'm not saying this is necessarily one of those moments, but...
It is one of those moments.
Do you ever just look around and read something and see something like, you know what, I don't want to live here anymore?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah, but this isn't one of them.
I know. For you, it's not one of them. For me, it might be.
I have those almost
dream.
daily.
Yeah, this is how Ryan lives his life, because he's one of those.
He's a capitalist. He loves stuff like this.
He's a capitalist, low life scumbag, or whatever you guys
create
call
that
him
bundle,
today.
and if it's worth more, you got it. It's genius.
No,
it's great. Collector's dream.
This is the thing that I always say about stuff like this. Is what Ryan loves this shit because it happens and it works. But my side of it is it's fucking disgusting. It's stupid.
I love it. It's so I need a shower after talking about it. It's so perfect.
It's so stupid. But if you can sell the box for $5, why wouldn't you? Right? It's fucking stupid.
Why
but
not? Yeah, it's so good.
How much does it cost to print that box? Like 48 cents, and you're making
if even
right. Makes
so
a
good.
Profit.
Like
it's so good.
Make it. If people are stupid enough to buy it, go ahead and do it. I guess it's just fucking worthless and disgusting.
Sign me up.
Put those people in Far Cry 5 so I can shoot them in the face. Though.
So this is
yeah, there you go.
Before we get to our last story, I want to tell a different story about something in the box.
That's gross.
No, it's
box?
Upsetting, but not gross. I went to and Dan knows part of the story, but doesn't know the part I'm going to tell. I went to Give Me a 5 yesterday. You know, my holy grail of stores, treasure hunt's what they should have called it. Mm-hmm. And it being a holiday weekend, we had nasty weather here. There weren't that many people there. I got there same time as usual, and usually I'm 100 and something in line, 80 in line, something like that. I was 48 in line yesterday.
Whoa, buddy! So
I'm like, I'm gonna see some of this prime real estate when I get in here. I might get some good stuff. So the doors open, we get in and everything, and I'm grabbing some stuff here and there. And once you get your bags full, you kind of sit down and start looking at what you have. You start going through, making a purge, get rid of the stuff you don't really need, and you just grab because it's fucking right there for $5. And then you open the brown boxes when you don't know what's in them. So there's a guy sitting beside me, and I hear him go, holy shit, there's a PlayStation Vita. So I look over. This bastard's got a slim Vita with a charger, everything. In just a sleeper white box that had nothing on the outside of the box.
Right.
And it's obviously like a refurbished Vita from Amazon, but it's complete. And I think what happened is the screen was replaced because the screen had a like the peel-off thing, the protective thing on it still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
it looked like a brand new Vita for $5. I'm like, this is incredible. Then the guy across from him goes, I got an iPhone 7. I'm like, well, goddamn. I look up, he's got an Apple box in his hand. Guy across from me goes, I got one too. I'm like, what's happening right now? Because I don't have anything like this in my bag. There's no like happy Hollywood ending here. Like I got some junk. Then the guy that got the Vita goes, I also found this original Super Mario Brothers still in the box.
Oh my god.
For NES. And I'm like, this is my nightmare. Everyone around me has awesome stuff. And they're all like showing each other like, look at my prize, look at my treasure. I'm like, I got a $20 dash cam here that I'm gonna save 15 on. Enjoy your day, gentlemen.
How do you get so bad at going to that store, dude?
I mean, those people spend the night there. I mean, they're up front. You got it's a smash and grab job if you want that stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah, and you can't have a tent. You can't have an air mattress. They spend the night in a fold up chair because that's all they allow. And I mean, you play the game hard if you want those big things like that. There's also these golden tickets that let you go in first, so those people get 15 minutes of unsupervised shopping before anyone else enters the store. But this guy was not. This guy was just in the front of the line. He wasn't an early shopper. He walked in. He grabbed a white box not knowing what it was. He grabbed Mario. I don't know where the fuck that came from. I bought a Genesis game from there too not long ago. Like who was returning those to where?
Who's got a brand new Super Mario in the box?
I don't know. And who bought it and returned it? Like those
from
are
like
returns.
85? Like
yeah. Black box Mario.
Not the Duck Hunt combo.
No, just Mario. And it was like in plastic. Like it had been open, but it was like in a plastic bag. Like a sealed bag. It was and the guy got a Vita. Like, let someone else get some shit, bro. You got 2 iPhone people over here. They only got 1 iPhone each, and you got 2 gyms over there with you.
You ever try to buy stuff off people? You're like, hey, man, $10.
No, but when I was leaving, I was eyeballing this lady with a remote control boat. And I don't know if I've expressed my passion for having an RC boat, but I've got one. I've got a pool now. It seems like I want to put a boat in it.
Right, that's what it was meant for.
Yeah, that's what I want to do with it. So she's got this boat, and I'm standing to check out. She's like, my kids might be too young for this boat. I'm like, yeah, they're too fucking young. Hand it here. So I'm just watching her, and she's like having a discussion with her friend about whether or not she should buy the boat. And she's like, well, the boat's $60 on Amazon, and I don't know what I should do because I don't want to buy it just to buy it. I'm thinking, put that boat up. Just let me see you stand up with that boat. And so she's going back and forth. I'm next in line. Like, a decision has to be made about this boat. So she finally stands up. She says, I'm going to put the boat back. I'm like, you putting that boat back? Like, she didn't even get it out of her mouth yet. She's like, I think I'm going to put them. I'm like, you putting that boat back? And she's like, yeah, do you want it? I'm like, yeah, take the boat. And she gives it to me. I thank her, and I'm like she's counting my items. Like, I'm taking the boat from her and putting it right on the table so the lady can count it. So I did get a pretty badass RC boat.
I don't understand how you just go there with $100, you buy 20 GD in items, and you leave.
I mean, I only got 6 items yesterday. I mean, you just do what feels right. You can't go in there with a plan because that store's not built for a plan.
Right.
It's fucking chaos every time.
It's like Black Friday.
If Black Friday was in someone's garage. Because they're just, like those bins they throw the Hot Wheels in at Walmart, totally full.
Yeah.
And there's 30 of them in a room that has nothing else in it, totally empty.
Let me ask you this. Do they sell out? Do people buy everything in the store every time?
So if you go on Friday, which is quarter day, there's probably about 12 to 15 bins left, and it's just the bottom layer in each bin. So by the time they close down, there's probably 1 to 2 full bins once they pull all the trash out, and that's all screen protectors and chargers, and like there's tons of like iPad cases with built-in keyboards and broken stuff. I mean, there's probably 1 to 1.5 bins left at the end of the week, and we're talking, Gerald wrote in last week about dumpster diving. They just throw all that shit in the dumpster at the end of the week.
Yeah.
So if you dumpster dive there, you could get some pretty cool stuff if you took the time to go through everything.
Yeah.
The place is insane. Someone got a Vita for $5. Original Super Mario Brothers in the box for $5, and 2 iPhone 7.
The store it's a lot like the lottery. Like you always hear stories about the lottery being cool from people who've won it, and then you play it for years and you never get anything. So
these items have to exist, and I often wonder if they put these items there
so that people come into the store, right? Because you got to get that story.
People have to find these things.
The good things, yeah.
Like, there has to be a guy with an Xbox One, and you're like, are you fucking shitting me right now?
Right, so that you'll come back.
Yeah, because that guy got an Xbox One here.
I wonder if they're plants.
No.
Like
you see the same people there, and you see new people there, and you see the excitement when people find stuff. I mean, it's like constant digging, but you'll hear like a woo in the corner because somebody found something good. Like, it's like that, and everyone's looking for something different. And there are people who are just looking for things that are expensive they can resell too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a unique store. I want to get a picture of it, but
I would
never
love
have
to
time.
go and just stand and just observe it once.
Yeah. You think that, but then you stick your hand in the bin. You're like, I'd love to have everything here.
No, I'd love to just go observe.
All of you.
Just want to observe it.
They made a decision to space the bins out a little more and cut down on the area you have to open boxes, which is a really good move because now I don't have to have somebody's ass rubbing on me the whole time I'm trying to look through a bin.
I feel like they shouldn't let you open the boxes till you buy it.
That would be a real dice roll, but I think they know that people would open them regardless, so they just give you an area for it.
Yeah.
What they don't want is for you to open it over the bin and stuff spill out, and now the items aren't complete, or you have to buy 2 items instead of 1 to get your power cord.
Right.
But so there's a designated area. People stand over you and kind of watch you open it, and if a box has to be taped back up, they tape it back up.
Right. That way that you don't just stuff stuff into a box, too.
Oh, you could still totally do that. You could open a box, put 6 items in it, and then, like, fold the flaps back down. They never look inside anything. This place is not secure. There's a person that checks your receipt when you leave, but I'm not sure what they're checking for. They literally just put a check mark on it when you walk out. They've never looked in my bag. They never look at how many items I have. They just put a check mark on it when you leave.
Is there a re-entry? Could you, like, get some stuff, go out, put it in the car, go back in?
Yeah. But you can only have 2 bags at a time as far as the shopping bags. They're IKEA shopping bags because why wouldn't they be? They're those big blue IKEA totes. You can only have 2 of those per person.
See.
So in the event that they're full, you have to go check out, and you'll have to come back in because you can't hold anymore, and it's only 2 bags per person.
Right.
Per time.
You can't hold anything like under your arms and 2 bins.
You can, but it's not like feasible for you to still dig around like that.
Right.
The other awesome thing they do is if you fuck around and leave your bag unattended, right back in the bin.
Wow.
You don't set it on the wall and take a breather. They find that bag with nobody around in the bin. And I'll just wait. I'll watch them. I'll watch them find that bag and dump it. I'm like, right there on that shit. Somebody thought it was good enough for their bag, good enough for my bag. I'll go through this shit too. There was 3 vibrators and or dildos there yesterday. Mm-hmm. So it's good to see that those are still rolling in.
Yeah.
And there was this really great moment that I got to be a part of where this lady picked it up and the lady beside her goes, it's a vibrator. And the lady goes, it says it's a pelvic massager. And the lady goes, yeah, that's a vibrator. And the lady goes, oh, gotcha. And then laid it down as if I'll be back for you. My favorite part was how she laid it down, looking at the lady, looking at the box, and then like mentally like dropped a pin at that location. Like, when this lady's not here to judge me, I'll see you in about 3 minutes because it's coming home. Now, the great thing is that you don't know if anything there is used or not.
Right. That's not the place to buy a vibrator.
Like, someone got it, took it home, was like, didn't give me the thrill I thought it was going to give me, return it back to Amazon. And then this person's like, I'll take that secondhand, no problem.
Not the place to buy a vibrator, I don't think.
It's so good. I wish everyone could experience this store. I don't want to keep it to myself, but I kind of do.
If it weren't in Clarksville, brother, I'd be there.
Yeah, if you ever come through, you got to just you got to put some eyes on this thing, but you really need to be there at open to get the full experience. Like, when I'm waiting in line, like, I feel the fire burning a little bit when it's getting close. Like, 2 minutes out, he's out there with the bullhorn making the announcements. I'm like, yeah, get me in this fucker.
It's like when you were a kid getting ready for the Easter egg hunt.
Kinda. Like,
There's nothing.
Or when you're waiting for a midnight release of a video game.
Right. If you can get that excitement
kind of
back.
like, yeah, it's that feel where you're like, let me in this bitch. Let me in. I'm gonna find everything. Let me in.
Right.
It's pretty good. Last story. It appears that Hitman may not be dead. It appears that, based on an earnings report, that Square Enix understands if they're going to shop around IO Interactive, that they're going to probably need to do it with the Hitman franchise, and whether that means licensing or it means selling that IP off. I don't know what it means, but it does seem like they understand that needs to exist for people, and probably if someone's going to buy IO is going to need to be part of the deal. So just a little hope there for Hitman fans, because I really feel like they did it right on this one. And I hate to see that be the last Hitman, because I think they're on to something. And I know people are super pumped for Season 2. So, a little silver lining there.
Yeah.
I plan to talk about that more, but I wanted to tell the Superstore story.
Right. Well, I mean, not much else to say. Hitman deserves to go on, so.
Yeah. It does. The movies deserve to stop forever, but
yes. You got that right.
The games should go on. They should live long and prosper.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's time for our newest, oldest brought back segment, Gone But Not Forgotten, where we reach back in our gaming past, we dust off an old gem, and we tell you about it. This week, in honor of his last show as a full-time host, we're going to let Matt do the Gone But Not Forgotten.
Right. And because it's me, it may
Strap
not be
in.
gone. It may not be forgotten. But goddamn it, it's my favorite game. This week's game is Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1.
Here's my question, though. This is gone but not forgotten, right?
Yeah. So
Okay. Well, what
I could justify.
if it was
Don't
never
worry.
here or remembered?
Wow. Well, it is. God damn it. Okay. Don't worry, I can justify this. So it's classic Metal Gear. A lot of people have played it, but you may not have played it recently because Metal Gear 5's popularity, or new people that are just coming to the franchise because of Metal Gear 5. Go back and play Metal Gear 1 if you haven't. Do it in honor of my last show. It's the greatest game ever made. It's the greatest story ever told.
I'm not sure.
Don't play Twin Snakes.
I feel like
Play
you just
the
mentioned
original.
something about Metal Gear 5's popularity.
Very popular.
Wasn't
Very
that a thing?
popular.
Wasn't that a thing you
steaming
said?
pile of shit. Huge pile of shit. Go back and play Metal Gear 1. There's nothing like running a guard around in the snow. He goes, what are these, footsteps? And you just run to the other side, and he just follows. He goes, must be nothing. And you just lead him around all day, baby.
I think that checks out. That's if I'm following footprints and I don't see anybody.
Nobody there, man.
There's nobody to see.
Yeah.
Just footprint.
Anyway, brilliant game. Everybody should play it. And
A tale as old as time, Metal Gear 1.
needs to be on the Gone But Not Forgotten list at some point, so there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing you got it out because
it was never going to be on there otherwise.
Yeah, I knew it was definitely coming up on my list too.
I've been sandbagging that one the whole time.
Yeah, Matt's like, one day I'll have a last show. And that Metal Gear, that bitch is going on there.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Little Big Planet's going to be on mine.
There you go. Song. There you go.
Even though no one slept on that. Fucking great. I still, and I know they've given it away on PlayStation Plus and stuff, I still get on and see people playing Little Big Planet on my list. Like weekly, I'll see someone, and it's not the same person just playing that game. And I love that. And it's unfortunate they're playing the worst version of it. But I love that people are still playing that game. Hope they do another one, but they're probably going to fuck up Dreams. Dreams has been in production for like 17 years, and no one talks about it anymore.
Never coming out.
So, it's coming. It better be at E3, and they better be like, and it's available now.
Oh, what was somebody? There was some kind of big announcement. Oh, Days Gone's going to get a big E3 announcement. I fully expect that to be a Days Gone is ready. It's ready to go. Here it comes. It's also available right now digitally. Like I expect
what it might be is they might tell everybody it's a kart racer.
Could be. But we have been talking about it since we started this podcast that somebody needs to do an E3 day and date announcement for a large AAA title. I think Days Gone could be the game.
It's just so hard to do because of it's available next week works, but having it to retailers and stuff, it's just so hard to do and keep a secret.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's available digitally now, but I don't know. I think you're going to get it this year. Or early next year. I think that's the announcement is that like this bitch is close.
I think it's going to be like today, and the retail copy comes in 6 months.
Holiday 2017.
I don't know if we talked about it. Red Dead got pushed to next year.
They did.
I don't know if we talked about it, but it was never going to come out this year. And I'll just tell you, Rockstar does whatever they want. So if it ain't ready next year, you won't get it next year either.
Mm-hmm.
And Rockstar unapologetic about that shit.
But when it does come out, it's gonna blow your fucking face off.
Yeah.
Rockstar, they're like, hey, we delayed this. Everybody's like, hey, what the fuck? You're like, hey, shut up.
Right.
And then they go back inside and go work on their game like they don't care.
Shut up or it'll never come out, goddammit.
It is refreshing to see a developer just not give a shit about that.
Right. But they put out product to back it up, though.
Yeah, they earned
it. Goddamn it, we're waiting for this. And they're like, cool, go play GTA Online and shut up.
Right.
We got new shit rolling out for that. We're going to go make a Western. It's going to blow your balls off.
Hey, speaking of, while we're just on here, is anybody going to drop the $54 to get the digital copy of GTA 5 to get the Megalodon card? Because I'm thinking about it.
I think about it all the time, but then I think about I could just play the game and get that money.
Yeah, dude, but it takes like a month to get like $3 million bucks.
I know. And plus you have a digital copy of that game, which means you could sell back. I mean, it probably still has decent sell back value.
Yeah, like I'm seriously thinking about it.
Yeah, Dan's not. Dan doesn't play it.
It's a $100 Megalodon card. It's $8 million.
I know.
I could buy that 60 car garage right now and fill her up. Because the garages are 25% off right now.
I like how you guys are trying to peer pressure me into buying Friday the 13th, which might still happen. But what Matt used was, we bought Deformers for you.
No, Dan said that.
That was me.
Oh, okay. Whoever said it. But the best part about this is these fuckers don't play with me.
Dude. I played with you the other night.
And I told you the same. You play at like 11 o'clock at night.
Go back and watch Gamestitch Live, Part 2, and just tell me if it sounded like Dan was having a lot of fun with me playing Deformers.
You didn't say I had to have fun with you. You said I had to play it with you.
We played 2 matches, and all you did was complain the entire time.
I love Deformers, but I need you guys to get on my fucking level.
The point is, I played it just like you asked me to.
You played two matches.
You're trying to change the terms of the contract again.
2 matches.
You never told me to have a good time.
You're making it miserable for me, though. It's like playing with Matt.
Oh, my God. Don't do that.
Like, why is everybody so negative all the time?
I love Deformers.
I love Rocket League. I'm playing with Howard, who I play with every night, and he's shitting on it because he's so negative.
Who, Howard?
And I'm like, yeah, and I said, it's like playing with Matt.
Was that last night?
Then the next night, I jump on to play Gamestitch Live with Dan, and Dan's shitting all over Deformers. I'm like, what is wrong with everybody? Can't we all just lighten up, have a good time, play a video game?
Yeah.
As if it's Deformers' fault that Dan can't remember what button does what?
Yeah, well, I didn't remember, and it pissed me off.
How do I jump? How do I roll fast?
Time.
That's not how I roll fast. How do I roll fast? That's not how I roll fast. How do I roll fast? I'm like, I don't know what you're asking.
R2, buddy.
I don't know. That's not what he wanted. That charges up. He wanted a button that doesn't exist, I think.
Yeah, you don't roll fast.
That game's good. How do I go the other direction? I don't know what you're doing wrong. You should watch that. You should watch that Gamestitch
I never
live.
asked
Listen
you
to
how
Dan
to
enjoy.
go the other direction.
Dan says multiple times, "How do I stop going?" or "How do I go the other way?" Multiple times you'll hear him ask this question. Multiple times. That's part 2. I had to break it up in 2 parts because YouTube's weird.
It's possible.
But we play Rocket League for the first part of that. Then we play. Then we play Deformers together. It was a fun time.
We started playing Rocket League a little bit more this week too.
Yeah, we did. And Rocket League was fun. I was glad everybody got to see us play a little Rocket League because I don't think we've ever streamed any. So we had fun with that. It's available on YouTube now. You can watch it back on Twitch if you want to see it with the comments. But if you just want to see it as it was, then I think we do a pretty good job of kind of saying what the question was in the stream. But if not, I mean, that's a show that's meant to be taken in live. So if you come to it after the fact, I mean, just pay attention to us, our banter, because we do answer some questions, and we do stop playing for a little while to answer some questions.
Yes, we do.
I took an aside to check my Switch library because Thomas wanted to know what game he should pick up digital for the Switch. So I had to stop playing, open the Switch, open the eStore, and go give him some answers. And that's the beauty of doing it the way we do it.
I would like to point out Grand Theft Auto 5 is trading in for $22 at GameStop right now.
So really, it's only like spending
$30 for the Megalodon card.
Yep,
I'm
bad.
doing it today because
plus your fat ass don't have to get off the couch to put the game in anymore.
Exactly. I've also got a copy of Uncharted 4 and a copy of Ratchet and Clank that are going back to. So
don't get rid of that, you 4.
I've got 2 copies.
Oh, I played last night with a guy who had Drake's Legacy icon for his little gamer tag, and I appreciate the throwback there. He just probably never fucking changed it. But I like seeing the Uncharted 3 icon on there.
Oh my god, Uncharted 4 only trades in for $3.
That's not right.
Yeah, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, PS4 trades in for $3.
That's not right. Something's wrong.
Because they're selling it for. They must be selling it for like $10. Yeah.
No, I just saw it the other day. It's like way more than that.
Maybe they have a ton of them.
Let me get to the bottom of this.
Was Ratchet and Clank trades in for $12.50, so there's no way that Uncharted 4 trades in for $3.
No way.
Yeah, something's wrong with that. I was just there the other day, and I'm trying to remember how much it was. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Uncharted 4.
It's $39.99,
right?
Okay.
Well, it's $39.99 new, so yeah, it's probably like $34.99 used.
So it's probably trading in for like
$29.99.
So it's trading in for like $12.
Yeah, $12, $13 probably. Yeah. Yeah. Or sell that shit on Craigslist. Have a bro come over to your house and see the inside of your house so he knows how to rob it later.
Right.
Selling that game for $13.
We've got ADT. It's fine.
You feel like you need to announce that on the podcast?
Yeah, we've got ADT.
There's a security system in case you're thinking about robbing me. Don't worry about it. Or if you know how to get around ADT, now you know how to get into my house.
We got that cell service ADT.
Oh shit! Cell phone jammer, walk right in.
it's the one that like you can't smash and grab it, or you can't
smash and grab anything I want.
It sounds like a challenge.
Yeah. Tell me again what I can't do. Let's stand in your house packing your couch out. What else can I not do?
It's secure here, man. We got glass break sensors everywhere. It's wild.
I wouldn't take anything, but I would recreate your house on your front lawn so you understood I could get in there and do what I wanted.
Right. I've set the ADT off several times. That glass break sensor is sensitive.
You've been breaking glass?
Well, I mean, don't close the door hard in the middle of the night. That's all I'm saying.
I slam every door. That's how I roll.
I know.
Man. This is a long, girthy one.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
Long, girthy one. If you want to follow us on the social medias, we are at Game_Stitch. I am at Podcast Ryan. Dan is at Shirtless Dan. And Matt is at Goddammit Matt. You can always email us podcast@gamestitch.com. And you can find the podcast every Monday, 6 a.m. Central Standard Time on podcast services around the world. And remember, if you want to support said podcast, you can head over to patreon.com/GameStitch and you can toss us a couple of logs. I usually say bones, but I'm tossing some logs to the logs of cash. You can toss us some of those. If you can't afford it, this podcast will always be free. And just put it in your ear holes. Tell your friends about it. Rate us on iTunes 5 stars. It helps other people find this show. I want to give a shout out to Garrett Wade and Thomas Barfield for supporting us over at Patreon at the shout out level. Also for our friend Alan, who has supported us for many months in a row now. I don't have an exact count, but many months.
A lot.
So thanks for that.
And as I wasn't on Gamestitch Live, did you guys do a giveaway on that show? Because there was a giveaway that was.
We did not do a giveaway. Because we had a technical difficulty in the middle of it.
Gotcha.
There was a lot going on there, but we're still going to give something away.
Yeah.
So, and that will be for the purposes of Gamestitch Live. So we might even do it on Dan's second playthrough of Life of Black Tiger.
Gotcha.
Because God knows that stream will need something to pick up the energy a little bit. So maybe we'll be there to give something away for that. There's
a great suggestion by Thomas that since you have a 3D printer, we should print some kind of amiibo, like Gamestitch amiibo. I know that you and I in private had talked about doing the Gamestitch coin, getting it modeled and printed it up.
I would love to print something for you guys. The thing is, I don't know how to 3D model yet. I'm trying to teach myself. So that's not a bad idea, and I could definitely print you like a pre-made trinket. But I'm trying to wait till I get to the point where I can actually model something specific for us. And I'm just not there yet. If I did, I've done some stuff, and it looks like dog shit. So we just need to wait till I'm a little better on the modeling side. And I definitely do think that's a cool prize and maybe even a reward tier. But we'll talk about it because I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Little 3D printed Gamestitch coin that's got a surprise NFC amiibo, and it would be fun.
Yeah, and also illegal.
Well,
we're not breaking any rules, Nintendo. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Just so you know, we're all good over here. You can sell an empty box. We can fucking sell or give away an amiibo.
I mean, if you're not going to sell amiibos, by God, we'll give them away.
Well, by we, he means him. If you legally need to take action.
Right.
That's the thing about it. Don't stream our stuff on YouTube, but here's an empty box we'll sell you.
What are you so upset about?
It's a two-way street, motherfucker.
What are you so upset about? This has been episode 228. Seriously, I want to say thank you to Matt. And don't freak out. I'm telling you, things are going to be as you know them.
It's all good.
Don't worry.
We roll
I'm
with the
still
punches.
around, you guys. I just won't be on the mic. I'm still here. Just not on
the mic.
By the mic,
he means a guy named Mike.
Michael.
Yeah, like a guy. He won't be on the Michael.
He's not on the mic. Not just any mic.
The Michael. Not a bad name if you're Michael, just to go by the Michael.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little classy. It's a little, like, definite. Like you're Michael. The one.
It's definite.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Remember, subscribe to us wherever you listen to us. You want to give us a final good night, Matt?
Ladies and gentlemen, good night.